Very hot day here in the metro with the heat index reaching even higher. 41 Action News with team coverage for you tonight.
That's right. Bryant Madrick and Sarah Plake have more on the impact of all this heat. But we start with Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak. Gary, what's the latest on this forecast?
Well, right now it's 97 degrees outside, and for those of our fellow employees standing outside, they know it is hot out there. The humidity under control, 66 dew point. It could be worse. South-southwest wind at 14 miles per hour. That helps out a little bit with cleaning out the air. But 97 at KCI, it's likely going to fall short of 100 officially. But look at this. Olathe, 101. That's official too, okay? 100 degrees in Lawrence, 101 degrees in Paola. The heat is building in from the southwest and spreading off to the northeast. Some heat tips. Basically, I like to tell everyone, just a lot of water. A lot of people go out there and they play volleyball and the sand courts out there. Lots of water, more than you usually would drink. And we'll continue our team coverage, guys.
All right, Gary, thanks. As these temperatures continue to heat up, many of us are cranking up those air conditioners.
Unfortunately, some are finding issues with those said units, and that's made for a busy time for cooling companies. A number of them are being bombarded with service calls.
41 Action News anchor Bryant Madrick learned what you can do to keep that AC running. Hi, Bryant.
Hey, Kevin and Dia, good evening to you. Good evening to all of you at home, hopefully in a very air-conditioned, cool home. Right now, all over our area, air conditioners like this one working hard right now. The only ones who are working a little bit harder than these ACs are the men and women whose job it is to fix them when they break down. For many of us, cool air is a comfort. For Fred Miller, it's a lifesaver.
I am a diabetic, and I have had some health issues. And if I don't stay in cool air conditioning, it's a real serious health issue for me.
Fred's AC is more than 20 years old. He called the folks at Dick Ray to make sure it keeps working. And as you can imagine, Fred isn't the only one calling.
So we've been very busy. Of course, everybody turns on their air conditioners all at once when it gets hot, so the phones blow up and we get really busy.
Technician Zach Wooten says if you want the cool air to keep flowing, maintenance is important.
On this unit, actually, a good rain will sometimes rinse these older units off. The new ones have doors with louvers, so you really got to pull the panels off and hose off the outdoor coils to keep them clean so the system can breathe.
Staying cool is important, so is saving energy. Evergy says they're prepared for the heat and have options to conserve, like the residential thermostat program.
On peak days, such as today, when it's really hot outside or there might be system conditions, we will call on those thermostats to reduce or curtail. And it's for a couple hours.
The utility controls thermostats by raising the temperature by 2 or 3 degrees. It only impacts Missouri customers who sign up. In return, they get special perks. Back at Fred Miller's house, their satisfaction inside and out.
It makes me feel good, too, when they're appreciative and I fixed something for them. I feel good, they feel good, so, yeah, it's a good feeling all the way around.
Yeah, and another feeling that feels pretty good is that cool air. And the key word from that technician is make sure that your AC is maintained. You got to stay on top of that maintenance so people like that technician don't have to come out to your house in the first place. Reporting live in Kansas City, Missouri, I'm Bryant Madrick, 41 Action News.
Brother, get inside to the cool and stay hydrated. Thank you, Brian. While many of us will choose to stay inside in the AC during this hot weather, others don't have a choice.
41 Action News reporter Sarah Plake joins us to explain how we are helping people experiencing homelessness in our community.
Well, usually the number of people at shelters goes down during the summer months, but Shelter Casey says because of this intense heat we've seen over the last few days, it's actually driving numbers up. And so Shelter Casey has decided that they will allow their male guests to stay throughout the day, get lunch, get expanded services. Normally they would check in during the afternoon and then leave the following morning. But now they expect more people. So the shelter wants to put together 500 emergency kits with water, granola bars, chapstick, and sunscreen. But this is all they have, that basket there, that's it. This obviously won't go very far, so they need donations.
We need help with that, whether it's volunteering, getting involved in a chapel service, or serving food, whether it's packing a bag of emergency goods to hand out to the guys, whether it's donations. It takes a village.
Shelter KC usually serves about 100 men, 50 who stay overnight, and 20 who are and a little bit more than 20 who are in the long-term recovery programs. But again, they do expect more people. If you want to donate, 1520 Cherry is always open. I'm Sarah Blake, 41 Action News.
Sarah, appreciate it. Remember, this isn't the last day of this stretch of extreme heat, so download our app to stay weather aware. You'll have the current temperature and heat.
But first tonight at 10, get ready for a heat wave this weekend.
There he is, Gary Lezak, and he doesn't use the term heat wave lightly. So, Gary, I know you're live outside. Break everything down for us.
Well, you know, a heat wave, Kevin, as you very well know, we've talked about it over the years, is 3 consecutive 95-degree days or hotter. All right, let's take a look outside right now. We're out here, but I want you to see this graphic because I put on there the high today was 98 at KCI Airport. The clouds hung in there just long enough to prevent the 100 from officially happening. But Olathe was 103 degrees today. That is an actual temperature, 103 in Olathe, and then 100 is our forecast. So 3 consecutive days, yesterday or today 98, tomorrow 100, and then Saturday and Sunday also look hot. There is a cool spell likely on Monday. We'll go over that. And right now there's one very important factor. It is just not that humid. It could be worse if you think about that. But the heat is here. We'll talk about our forecast coming up.
Glass half full, it indeed can be worse.
All right, Gary, thanks for that.
In this heat, people love to hit the neighborhood pool, but many are finding closed gates as pools encounter problem after problem, from staffing shortages to now overcrowding. Adventure Oasis Water Park closing tomorrow, one of the hottest days so far, all to address those overcrowding and security concerns.
And as 41 Action News reporter Andres Gutierrez shows us, it's not the only pool facing some unique problems this summer.
After being cooped up for a year, families are flocking to public pools like Independence's Adventure Oasis Water Park on what are some of the hottest days we've experienced.
The lazy river was fun. The kids like going down the slides in the play area, so we had fun.
What about the crowds? Was it pretty packed?
It was a little crowded, but it wasn't horrible.
But city leaders say they've seen a record-breaking number of people in the first 2 weeks they've been opened. Some have waited in line up to an hour and a half to go in. They've also dealt with troublemakers almost every day.
So starting Saturday, staff will be checking proof of residency. Only Independence residents will be allowed into the water park. The only exception is for those who don't live within city limits who have purchased season passes already.
That might keep it down to where, you know, they can remain open and, you know, they don't have to have such a crowd issue to where security is needed.
The park won't open Friday, so the staff can train on the new operating procedures.
I mean, that's not fair to everybody because we're not the ones that are acting up and stuff.
Chelsea Rudgen lives in Kansas City, Missouri, but came here because the pool closest to her is closed. KCMO Park says several of their pools didn't open for a variety of reasons. Some mechanical, others have leaks or need gutter work.
A lot of this was, you know, we're talking the week before, 2 weeks before opening day, when you're really fully operational and running through your paces, that you find some of these issues.
And at Grove Park Pool, vandals targeted the bathhouse.
It looked like somebody had taken a sledgehammer to all the urinals, the toilet fixtures. There was actually a hole that was cut in the wall.
Parks and Rec thinks they may have to replace the whole building. In the meantime, they urge people don't take a dip in these.
We're going to do a sprinkler, I guess, at home since we have nowhere to go.
We might stay in tomorrow. Stay in the air conditioning tomorrow.
In Independence, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
Local pools are also dealing with staffing shortages and chlorine shortages. Not only did the demand for pools and supplies skyrocket during the pandemic, but one of the major manufacturing plants for chlorine in the U.S. burned down in August. We talked with Family Leisure last month. They've been seeing the shortage firsthand.
We have all been allocated the amount of chlorine that we can purchase, and therefore we also are allocating the amount that people can so we don't run into a toilet paper issue.
We checked around the metro. All pools are open in Olathe, Prairie Village, Raytown, and Liberty. Overland Park has 3 pools open right now. Marty Pool and Blue Jacket Pool will not open this summer because of that staffing shortage we told you about. Tomorrow in KCK, community members are planning a protest at the Parkwood Pool at noon. They want the Parks Department to open up this pool, saying it's the only swimming option for many kids. Leaving the pool closed but filled is dangerous.
KCK officers also asking people to stay out of Big 11 Lake near 11th and State. There's an overgrowth of toxic algae in the water. It can cause sickness and even death in both people and pets. Again, that's for Big 11 Lake at 11th and State in KCK. You can stay updated on tomorrow's conditions, check hour-by-hour temps, and get weather alerts, all on our free 41 Action News app.